My name is Andrea Reynolds, and I am founder and CEO of Swoop. Swoop is a platform for small and medium businesses who want to raise or save money. So a little bit of background on myself. I started my career in KPMG, and then I moved into corporate finance. And what I found was when I was helping businesses to get started, get them the funding they needed, help them grow their business plans, look at their numbers, and learn how to actually look after the bottom line. It was a very manual task and took a lot of hours. And so therefore, a lot of businesses would have to pay corporate finance advisors like myself at that time to be able to get the help that they needed in terms of navigating the funding landscape, when to get a loan, maybe when to go for investment. All of these are big finance decisions and big money decisions that businesses have to make every single day. So the majority of small and medium businesses cannot afford this type of service. And so what I thought about was, how could I bring this solution to businesses, regardless of where they are based and regardless of what they could afford? How could I empower them to be able to have access to everything those businesses that could afford those services? Now, thankfully, technology has moved on to such a place that it was possible to build that type of platform and make it available for free to businesses. And that type of technology came about because of two things. One, because data is becoming more open. The world is changing in terms of legislation changes that have come into force both in Europe and in other continents, which is creating what's known as an open data framework. What do I mean by that? Well, if, for example, today you have a bank account and you're a business owner or consumer and you want to go and work out where could you get the best finance products, you'd probably have to download all your bank statements. You might have to calculate things manually for yourself. You might have to share your bank statements with somebody, for example, if you wanted to get a loan. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. Today, because of open banking and what's known as PSD2, all of the banks have built a framework where third-party providers like ourselves, you can give us access to that data in a secure way, and we do all of the calculations for you. So it's like having a finance buddy next to you, a virtual one, that essentially does all these calculations and then scours the market for you and matches your data to the right products for you, personalized for you. And so that's the change that we've seen in terms of open data frameworks. It's not just banking. There's also open data when it comes to cloud accounting, business registers, credit scoring, etc. And so what we do is we integrate all of those data sources and build your profile for you in seconds, and then match you as a business to the right products. So that's open data. The second part of why the world is changing and why things are becoming easier to access is what's known as APIs. And so these are essentially gateways where one piece of technology can speak to another and you can transfer data securely. And so our entire platform is built through APIs and open data. What that means is you get instant decisions, you get to see your choices and your information in a way that's easy to consume and make decisions and move on. So that's the world as we know it today. Not everyone in the world has moved to APIs and open data. But what we're seeing is what started in the banking sector as open banking, it's now moving into the energy sector. So maybe today you have to pick up the phone and go around and get different quotes from all the different providers. Again, that will be done instantaneously because we will connect via these APIs I've discussed, and then we will return those results instantly. So the entire world is moving towards these gateway connections and sharing of data securely so that better products and better timescales can be delivered. That's the good news about today. Where we're seeing things moving is that because of this, uh, the world won't just be about you as a business owner going to your bank manager and asking for a loan. Those days are almost over anyway. You still go to your bank manager if you still have one, and you might still get your no or possibly a yes if you're lucky. But because of everything that we're seeing in terms of data and APIs, etc., we have lots of new lenders moving into the market. And lenders and finance in itself is becoming borderless. So it used to be you'd go to your local AIB or Bank of Ireland, and that's where you knew your bank manager. The future is that you won't need to know who the lender is. All decisions will be made through your data, and you'll get those decisions instantly. So you could have a lender in Barcelona lending to a business in Ballyjamesduff, for example. It won't matter where you are. It's what your profile is, and does it match to their algorithm, essentially. So what this means is it'll open up opportunities. It'll democratize finance further, because businesses, regardless of where they're located, will not be disadvantaged. Everybody will have this at their fingertips. And I think that is probably one of the true ways that we can unlock the potential of economies and actually unlock the regional disparities that we see, not just in our own country, but that we see globally. And so that's one way of being able to empower businesses to have everything at their fingertips. And we need to look after small and medium businesses, and our economies rely upon small and medium businesses. So 99% of businesses globally are small and medium businesses, and they employ 66% of all employees. So a really important customer segment that traditionally have been underserved and overcharged. And the reason they've been underserved and overcharged is because data and information has always been siloed. It's always been difficult to work out, personal to my business circumstances, what am I eligible for? On the other side, for providers, it's always been very difficult for providers to price products and to create products, because they have no standardized set of information about small and medium businesses across the world or across a region or across a sector. So the more we can standardize data, the more we can make it more transparent and available, the easier it will be for providers of products to create new products. The more products we have in the market, the more choice we have for small and medium businesses, the more likelihood of survival and then thriving. And I suppose we're beginning to see glimpses of this throughout the pandemic. So what we've noticed, we're operating at the moment in 3 territories. We're operating in Ireland, the UK, and in Australia. And we're beginning to see how our technology and other platforms like us are helping businesses to survive. So if I give you an example, the UK government came out and announced all of these loans, and they announced 40 providers. And so business owners were sitting there going, that's a great announcement, but how do I get hold of this? How do I know whether I'm eligible? Who's out of those 40 going to give me a loan? And they were calling their banks and they couldn't get through, and because everybody was going through the initial lockdown. And we built a version of our platform within a week. Within a week, we were triaging businesses, telling them that they were eligible in sub-seconds because they had integrated their data, and then we were matching them to the right provider for them. And for the provider who was inundated with phone calls and applications that were not ready or they were ineligible, we were giving them a packaged result, and so they were able to return a decision faster to those businesses. So it's really beginning to take a life of its own. I believe that the reaction of fintechs like us and the place for fintechs within this environment, it's really beginning to come true. And I think that is only the beginning of what open banking, what open data frameworks and what APIs can do. I think where it'll be in the future is, and we're already beginning to see this, is you won't even need to think about what you need and whether you need a loan or not. You know, most of the time businesses look for funding when it's that little bit too late, or they look for it and it takes them months, and by then the project need has passed and they might have gone to their own pockets to actually finance something. You won't even need to think about it in the future, because we will be able to predict when you need to go for something. So we will be actually telling you, actually, it's time for you to go for funding, because your cash flow management at the trends that we're seeing now, you're going to be stuck for some cash at this point. And then not only will we tell you that, but we will also show you the products that you are eligible for based on that. So I guess most business owners don't start their business to be accountants or to be bank managers or to be finance finders. Most people start a business because they have a great idea and a great product. And that's what we want businesses to get back to, is focusing on what they're good at, focusing on their customers, and not having to spend sleepless nights looking for the right products, wondering if they have enough finance to keep their business going. That's our job. That's what our technology does. That's what data does. That's what these famous APIs do for us all. So I think the future is bright for businesses. You have a much higher chance of survival through this crisis than you had in 2008. And interestingly enough, fintech as a sector actually really began to emerge post 2008. Alternative lenders started to emerge post 2008. And so I think it was a real reaction to the last recession that we had this surge in innovation, particularly in financial services. And I think that surge will continue. What we have noticed also is throughout this pandemic that we've seen a 30% increase in businesses moving online. Again, not just online to sell their products, but online in terms of finding finance and banking. So I think COVID has accelerated usage of platforms like ourselves and usage of data to help serve businesses. That can only help moving forward. Finding finance is one thing, keeping your bottom line looking healthy is the other. And so as I described access to finance, so too it will be the same across every form of service and product that SMEs are using. So I think the consumer is being well looked after by challenger banks, by digital apps, etc. And I think now what we're seeing is businesses will get the same treatment thanks to the new emergence of technology and data-driven platforms like ourselves. So I hope that was interesting. If you are starting a business, in a business, you have a lot to look forward to in terms of how you manage your finances and how you get that ease of access to finance that your business will need throughout its growth cycle. Thank you very much.